Good afternoon, YouTube. Welcome back to the channel. For those that don't know, I'm Matthew, and this is Matthew Hawker Gaming. So today we're going to do another in my Commander series. So today we're going to feature my Goblin deck, Wort, which has been with me a long time now. So it's dating back to the original Lorwyn it's been with me from, so it's been a while, and we're returning to Lorwyn next year, so we may get some new toys to play with. For those new to the channel, don't forget to like, comment and subscribe. It helps me grow the content. I've been playing nearly 25 years next year now, and I say I love my Commander and I love my Limited. I also do various I also cover Arena as well. Anyway, so for those that don't know, so I did a video recently, and you can see in the background is say those are most of my Commander decks, but the ones that are with me that are in my bag for when I go out. Anyway, you say so. Today we're going to feature Wort. So what is Wort? So Wort is this, which is one of the thing. I apologise for my nails. I do them, and then you say, all right. So Wort Boggart Auntie. So Wort Boggart Auntie is a 2 black-red creature which has fear. And say he's not going to be. This isn't going to be. Oh, I think it's female. I believe Wort is probably female. I'm not actually sure. It's auntie. It's definitely female, isn't it? Not. Oh yeah. So Wort is a 2 black and a red for a 3/3, and it's not going to be the most played Goblin Commander for sure. Now I'm going to give you some alternatives. So when I go through the deck, obviously the most played Goblin Commander is going to be Krenko. So Krenko is the thing. I mean, you say this the weather outside, British weather. Cold, so I'm next to a railway line. Anyway, Christmas is coming within the week. Anyway, we're going to carry on. Right, so why do you play the black version as opposed to the mono red version? Whereas black is basically gives you a bit more of a long game, and in Commander you basically want to have a long game because some of the games can be quite long, and it's basically a creature-based deck anyway. So Wort is a 3/3 for 2 black and a red. With fear, so it can only be blocked by black or artifact creatures, for those that don't know fear. And it's the beginning of your upkeep. You return target goblin from your graveyard to your hand, and you can do some interesting things with that. And you'll see some things that are like, or those that have been playing for a long time will probably know the kind of cards that are in there. They're not obviously goblins. Okay, so that's Wort, that's the commander, and it's going to be mostly creatures. I think there's going to be 40 creatures plus in this deck, and then we'll do the thing. We'll go through them in order. And I say thanks to Anthony Red Man of Madness for the Norn Hub as always. Okay, so apologise for the glare on a lot of these cards. A lot of the cards are going to be full. So this is Skirt Prospector. This is one of the best 1-drop goblins. So Skirt Prospector is a 1/1 for 1, and as you see, it's got the shooting star kind of thing, which is the old school foiling that they had. I don't remember when they stopped this. This is I know I started at Odyssey. Well, I started playing tournaments at Odyssey around 2001. So you see the shooting star. So Skirt Prospector is a red casting cost for 1/1, and it sacrifices a goblin, add red to your mana pool. This is really good because you can make a lot. Goblins are known for like token generation and a lot of the cards have haste as well. So you can sack a load of the small things and make the larger things quite easily. One of the best 1 casting cost goblins. I'll tell you as and when where I think the card is only okay in the deck, and it may not be rotated when I get something better in the new set, as you just had the train go past. We've got Knucklebone Witch, so you won't be able to play this if you're only playing red. So if you're playing Krenko, there's still going to be some ideas for this in the deck if you haven't seen them already. So Knucklebone Witch is it's also from Lorwyn. A lot of these cards are going to be from Lorwyn. Right, so the original one. So there's a 1 casting cost 1/1. It's whenever a goblin you control is put into a graveyard from play, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Knucklebone Witch. Not difficult to do. And it's also, you can make various payoffs for sacrificing things. So Goblin Lackey. So this is one of the best goblins early game anyway. So this is a 1 casting cost 1/1. The printing's from the FTV. So whenever Goblin Lackey deals combat damage to a player, you just attack the person that doesn't have the blockers. You may put a goblin permanent from your hand onto the battlefield. It's a way to get lots of things, but you used to play it with, say, Goblin Pile Driver and Siege Gang. I've played goblins in nearly most formats. in paper. I've played them to Legacy. I've played them in. I did a video on Goblins for Brawl as well, and like I feel you at a point you could. I played them in Standard. I played them at a GP in Standard at one point. That was Onslaught constructed. Anyway, Spike Shot Elder. So this guy is, I'm not sure if he should be in the deck or not. He's a 1 casting cost 1/1, but he has 1 red and a red. He deals damage equal to power to target creature or player, but there are lots of ways to buff it. So there we go. And then we've got another one of the things. So this isn't even legal depending on what format you're playing. So this is all Goblin Recruiter. It's a 1 casting cost 1/1. But when it comes into play, search your library for any number of Goblin cards. Reveal those cards to all players. You shuffle your library and you put them in top in any order. This used to be enabled you to go infinite with things like food chain, and it's not from the Lorwyn. It's from Visions. Right, and you've got one of the largest goblins. So it doesn't look large on the stat line, but it grows. It's a 1 and a red for a 1/2. It's got protection from blue. This was very good in the time when you were playing in 60 card constructed because Psychotog was most prevalent and it got through a Tog. It did die to the removal spell they played at the time, but like it got through the Tog fairly easily. Anyways, whenever Goblin Pile Driver attacks, it gets +2/+0 for each other attacking goblin, and it doesn't matter who you're attacking with them. It just grows. Right. And got one of the new, and that was from Onslaught. It says the Onslaught had a lot of goblins as well. See, this is Seer Slicer Goblin. So this is one of the more recent things. Originates from Bloomburrow. So it's a 1 red casting cost for 1/1. Sorry, it's for 2/1. I've done these all by CMC and casting costs. So, but the thing, as I say, as always, I'm going to link the deck list on Moxfield in the description. As I say, I'm getting better at doing them now, so I will link them. There's some of the older ones I haven't linked the decks, but I will do them eventually, even if they are quite late. Anyway, so this is Raid, so it's at the beginning of your end step. If you attack this turn, create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. There are lots of creature generation. Then you've got this one. So 1 and a red. This one is probably only okay, but I can tell you why I'm playing. And this is it. All these things are recurable with Wort, or nearly everything. So that's the thing. So it doesn't look great on paper. It's a 1 and a red for a 2/2, but it has modal. So it's 1, sacrifice it, choose 1, 2 damage to target creature, which is similar to another card you'll see in a minute. Or destroy target colorless non-land permanent. So you can use it to blow up, say, mana rocks and stuff like that, which is useful. And then we've got a card from Lord of the Rings. So they say Lord of the Rings obviously has goblins. It also has orcs as well. And when you say goblins are quite one of the more printed creature types in Magic, whereas the orcs are not. Anyway, this is more and more from Lord of the Rings. It has double red casting cost. As you see, it's 4. It's one in the promo one. So it's a 1/1 with double strike. So it's whenever a goblin or orc you control deals combat damage to a player, exile the top card of your library, you may play that card. It's for this turn. It's a way to get card advantage. It's better later in the game when you have more mana, so you can actually play the things. So there's a few goblins with double strike. So this is Warren Instigator. And as we saw earlier, so this is a double red for a 1/1. It's got double strike. But it's effectively a bigger goblin lackey. So it's whenever it deals combat damage to an opponent, you may put a goblin card from your hand onto the battlefield. Then we've got Conspicuous Snoop. So this is a more recent thing. It's from M21. So it says 2/2 for 2 again. It says play with the top card of your library revealed. You may cast goblin spells from the top of your library. As long as the top card of your library is a goblin, it has all the activated abilities of that card. Where there's a few things with activated abilities. Then we've got Grenzo, Havoc Razor. So this is this version of Grenzo. It's whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to a player, choose 1. It's go target creature the player controls. Always useful for redirecting effectively the larger creatures away from you. Or exile the top card of that player's library until then turn. You may cast that card. You may spend mana as though it were a mana of any color to cast it. Got Goblin War Driver. So this is only okay. So this might go when the new cards come out from Lorwyn, but as always, as I say, the Moxfield link should be up to date. I try and keep them up to date anyway, so that will be your best way to see the up-to-date listing from this deck. And don't forget, you can follow me on Moxfield as well to see what my decks are. And you see, Goblin War Driver is a 2/2 for 2 with Battle Cry. Battle Cry was an ability, so from the original, was it Mirrodin, I believe. Also returned to Scars mirrored in. I can't actually remember. It's whenever the creature attacks, each other attacking creature gets +1/+0. It's a kind of Boris mechanic. Right, so then you've got Ember Hauler. So this is, again, this is only okay. So this is double red for a 2/2. It's 1, sacrifice it, deal 2 damage to target creature or player. And you've got these, one of the tutors. So this is Goblin Matron. Before this Masters reprint, the Goblin Matron was relatively expensive in foil, and this one didn't cost me much. And you see it's got the shooting star again, but it's the reprint. Anyway, you see it's a 1/1 for 1. It's whenever a matron enters the battlefield, you may search your library for a goblin card, reveal the card, put it into hand, and then shuffle. Then you've got Goblin Sharpshooter. So Goblin Sharpshooter is seen constructed play. It's a 2 red for a 1/1. So it has the drawback, it doesn't untap during your untap step, but it's whenever a creature dies, untap it, and it taps to ping target creature or player for 1. It's good when you've got a horde of tokens on the board, for instance, and they're all very small, because you can mow them down quite easily, and it's not that difficult to give it haste. You've got Tuk Tuk the Explorer, so this is a legendary goblin. It's from Zendikar, so it's 2 red for 1/1. It has haste. It's whenever Tuk Tuk the Explorer is put into a graveyard from the battlefield, put a legendary 5/5 colorless goblin golem artifact creature named Tuk Tuk the returned onto the battlefield. So it's good if your opponent kills it, for instance, and you can get value off it. It's not amazing, to be honest, but like it might be a thing. So this is one of the best versatile goblins in the deck. This is Gem Palm Incinerator, and then there was a whole cycle of these cards, the Gem Palms, but like they dates back from Onslaught block. And then this was one of the ones that saw constructed play, whereas most of the other ones did not. Anyway, it's a 2 and a red for a 2/1, but it has cycling 1 and a red, which is the main thing it does. It's whenever you cycle the card, discard the card, draw a card. And it's when you cycle this card, you may have it deal X damage to target creature, where X is the number of goblins in play. So it's good for killing things and drawing cards, basically. And you're rarely going to cast this card, to be honest. You're basically going to cycle it. And the cycle effect is in effect. So they have to have a stifle effect to counter it rather than a counter spell, for instance. All right, so you've got one of the best new additions to the deck, or newer additions to the deck. You've got Pashalek, or obviously MM again. So it's 2 and a red for a 2/2. I also have this in my Goblin deck in Brawl as well. My Goblin Brawl deck is, well, we'll see what the commander is later. I'll leave you in suspense. So if you've been watching my videos for a while, you know what it is. Alright, whenever Passionate monster or another goblin you control dies, it deals 1 damage to any target. It's also got built-in 3 and a red, sacrifice a goblin, create 2 1/1 red goblins. Right, so you've got Legion War Boss. So this is another Boris mechanic. So this is from Ravnik, one of the Ravnikas. Just 2 and a red for a 2/2 with Mentor. It's whenever this creature attacks, put a +1/+1 counter on target attacking creature with lesser power. It's the beginning of combat on your turn. Create a 1/1 red goblin creature token. That token gains haste until end of turn and attacks if able. You got General Kreat. Thanks to one of my buddies, Josh, for providing me with General Kreat. General Kreat, the Bolt Bringers, 2 and a red for a 2/2. It's from Jumpstart. And it's whenever one or more goblins you control attack, create a 1/1 red goblin creature that's tapped and attacking. It's whenever another creature you control enters. Kreat deals 1 damage to each opponent. Got House Squad Heavy, so this is from Ether Drift. So it's 2 and a red for a thing. It's got the start your engines mechanic on it. It's other goblins you control have haste. And it's at the beginning of combat on your turn, create a 1/1 red goblin that attacks this combat if able. That's fairly typical on these kind of cards as well. And when you max speed, which is where 4, so it's basically taps to add red for each goblin you control, so you can do some good things with that. You can get lots of value off it. You've got Dropkick Bomber. So these are from basically what you call the cycle of Lords. Lords are basically things that buff other things, and sometimes some of them have various effects. So this is one of the new ones. This is from Jumpstart again. So this is another thing that gives goblins +1/+1. It's on a 2/3. Most of these things. This is larger than the bulk of the things. Most of the lords are 2/2s. It also can give red to the end of turn. Another target goblin you control gains flying. I believe there's another card that does that. I can't remember what the other card was. It picks things up and gives the goblins flying. It's basically what it does. And it basically, when the creature deals combat damage, you have to sacrifice it. You've got Goblin Chieftain, one of the goblins. So this is other goblin creatures you control, +1/+1 and haste. It also has haste. You've got Goblin King. This was one of the nicer printings of Goblin King. It's other goblins +1/+1 and now has Mountain Walk. I mean, always some people going to have mountains in the thing. Unfortunately, there's no way to give them mountains, unlike, say, Yavimir or Urborg, for instance. But like Goblin King, this printing, I believe, was from a WPM premium store. So there was also a zombie one as well. Goblin War Chief. So this is probably one of the best of the cycle of these kind of cards. As you see, it's promo printing. It's most of the lords are 2/2s. So this one is, again, it's goblin spells you can cost 1 less to cast, which is one of the best bits. It is colorless, and as you see, it's got the nice shooting style kind of thing. Goblins you control have haste. That's cool. You've got Hobgoblin Bandit Lord. So I believe the most common class for a goblin is probably rogue, to be honest. Anyway, or shaman. I don't know. So alright, this is from the D&D set. So it's a hobgoblin as opposed to a normal goblin, but it's not a subtype in Magic anyway. Alright, Hobgoblin Bandit Lord is a 2/3. It's other goblins you control +1/+1, and it's red. Tap it. Hobgoblin Bandit Lord deals damage equal to the number of goblins that have entered the battlefield under your control this turn to any target. Right, you've got another tutor, so these are the black goblins. So you've got dating back from Lorwyn again. So it's Boggart Harbinger, 2 in the black, who's also part of the cycle, is along with the Tree Folk one, Kithkin, and Elemental one. I think the Elemental one saw the most play. Anyway, when Boggart Harbinger comes in play, you must search your library for a goblin, reveal it, and then shuffle your library and put a card on top of it. It's worth combining with Wort. It's quite good because you can keep on tutoring and bringing it back. You've got another kind of lord. So this one was in Lorwyn originally, but then got downshifted in one of the MMs or MH sets. I can never remember the symbols, but the thing it's MH, I think. Anyway, it's other goblin creatures you control +1/+1 and taps to regenerate another goblin. Then you've got Goblin Chain Whirler. So this is also it's one of the larger goblins. The drawback of it, it's got a triple red casting cost, but it's not difficult in this deck. We're only 2 colors anyway. So Goblin Chain Whirler is a 3/3 with first strike. It's when he enters the battlefield, deals 1 damage to each opponent and each creature and planeswalker they control. So it's quite good against mowing down tokens again. We've got Goblin Ringleader, so I've played this up until Legacy. So this goblin is really good. It's 3 and a red for a 2/2 with haste, and it's when a Goblin Ringleader comes into play, reveal the top 4 cards of your library. Put all goblin cards revealed this way into your hand and the rest on the bottom of your library. So this is going to be slightly more thing. So this is from Lorwyn. So Lorwyn had a couple of mechanics, basically. So might be one of them. Champion is one of them. So Champion is basically a mechanic that says when this comes into play, sacrifice this unless you remove another of X creature type. In this case, Goblin or Shaman you control from the game. When this leaves play, return the card to play. So it's good with enter the battlefield triggers like the Boggart Harbinger you just saw. Anyway, Lightning Crafter is a 3 and a red for the 3/3. It taps to deal 3 damage to target creature or player. Right, so we've got the most played Goblin Commander is Krenko. Is this the original printing? I think it probably is. It's from M13 in the foil. So it's 2 and a red. I tried to foil out my decks. I'm a whale. I either that or a spike. Anyway, I also do like my tribal decks. So I mean, you say I've got a lot of those. I've featured quite a few of them, but I've still got 40 decks, so I'm trying to feature all of them at some point. And then you say I hope you join me, and we'll eventually get through them. I mean, you say okay, so this is Krenko. So you know what Krenko does? It taps to put X 1/1 red goblin creatures onto the battlefield, where X is the number of goblins you control, and it basically gets out of hand quite quickly. It's also comparable to something like Marinora, that I think Marinora is not that thing, but Marinora requires a sacrifice. All right. This is Goblin Trashmaster. This is another Lord, so it's larger though. It's 2 and a red for a 3/3. It's other goblins you control +1/+1, and it's sacrifice a goblin, destroy target artifact. Always good to have a bit of that artifact destruction. And you say we've got another one. I hope the lighting's okay. As I say, it's quite dark. As I say, maybe I'll hold them at this angle. Maybe I think that's probably a bit better. All right, so this is Boggart Mob. So this has the champion of goblin. It's quite large for a goblin. It's a 5/5. I had this in the game I played last week. It's whenever a goblin you control deals combat damage to play, you may put a 1/1 black goblin creature token rogue into play. All right, so we say we've got Modus Redcap. This was more played in various persist kind of combo decks. Alright, it's 2 and a black red hybrid for a 2/2. It has persist. This is a DCI printing. It's whenever it comes into battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature or player. It has persist. So persist, another mechanic that will probably make a return because of the thing is whenever this creature is put into a graveyard from play, and a lot of these kind of cards with persist kind of thing have probably spiked. If it had no +1, -1/-1 counters on it, return it to play with a -1/-1 counter. And then we've got another classic goblin. You've got Siege Gang Commander. This printing is from the Elves versus Goblins dual deck. They used to do various different dual decks. They were basically a way for, like, they gave you 2 decks in one package. And they were basically, they were a good way to get into the game anyway. And there was one for Elves and Goblins. Right, this is the Siege Gang Commander. It's when it comes into play, put 3/1/1 red goblin creature tokens into play. And it's 1 and a red, sacrifice a goblin, deal 2 damage to target creature or player. We're nearly done with the goblins, and then we'll go into the various other section of the deck. So this is a Goblin Dark Dweller. So this is a free, see this is all play in various formats. So this is a 3 and a red for a 4/4 with Menace. It's got, whenever he enters the battlefield, you may cast target instant or sorcery from your with converted mana 3 or less from your graveyard without paying its mana cost, and if so, that exile the card. Right, so there's not that many spells in the deck, but like he's in the deck currently. We've got Kiki Jiki, just good value even if you're not playing a combo, and there is a combo in the deck. Right, so Kiki Jiki Mirror Breaker, 2/2 with haste, and it's put a creature token in play that's a copy of target non-legendary creature control, sacrifice at end of turn. We've got Muxus, which is the commander. If you call it commander for Brawl, I'll call it a commander for Brawl. I also do various content for Brawl on Arena. Anyway, so he was my commander for that deck. I'm running to say Muxus, for those that don't know, is a 4 and a red for a 4/4. When he enters the battlefield, reveal the top 6 cards of your library, put all goblin creature cards with a converted mana cost 5 or less from among them onto the battlefield, and the rest on the bottom of your library in random order. When he attacks, he gets +1/+1 for each other goblin you control. I also think if you want, he is also viable as a command. Probably not as good as Krenko, but that wouldn't stop me. Right, so now you've got the only multicolored goblin in the deck. Okay, so this is Grenzo. This is the other Grenzo. So this is Grenzo, a dungeon warden. Right, so it obviously originates from Mosaic Conspiracy, I think it is. There was a black. He's an X casting cost black red for a 2/2. He enters the battlefield with X +1/+1 counters. He has 2 mana. Put the bottom card of your library into your graveyard. If it's a creature card with power less than or equal to Grenzo's power, put it onto the battlefield. But he puts it into the graveyard, so you can use Wort to fish it out of the graveyard. Right, so now we've done the goblins. I think there were 40 of them. I'm not sure if you checked the Moxfield list. All right, now we've got the non-goblins, or sort of goblins in this case. So we've got the Tauren Mauler. So this is just a good value. So it's a changeling. So it counts as a goblin. So it does trigger Muxus. I just put it in the non-goblin section. It's whenever an opponent plays this spell, you may put a +1/+1 counter on Tauren Mauler. So there's not very many in this section. And if you want more goblins, you can play more goblins. So I would say if you have, so Goblin Wizard is one that I would play if I had it, but it's relatively expensive and I haven't got one. I think I could have got it cheaper, and it's quite expensive now. Anyways, Goblin Wizard is basically from, is it from the Dark? I can't remember. Anyway, it's an older card. It's probably on the reserve list. I think it's probably on the reserve list. Anyway, it's a goblin that I think it taps to put a goblin from your hand into play. Anyways, so if you have that, play that. All right, so there'll be more goblins coming out in Lorwyn soon. That might mean I can play more. All right, Zealous Conscripts goes infinite with Kiki Jiki. Enough said. All right, so you've got Urbrask. It's just a way for giving your creatures haste, and you've got your opponent's creatures enter the battlefield tapped. Right, these two are more forgotten about, so these are worth explaining. This is Patron of the Aki. Again, this is from original Kamigawa. I can never remember which one it is. It's Champions, Betrayers, Saviors. I think it's the second. Yeah, I think it's the second one. So this is the Patron. There was a whole cycle of these as well. There's Patron of the Moonfolk, Patron of the Oroki, which is like the snake people as well. Anyway, this is Patron of the Aki, forward and red, but it's not going to cost you that most of the time. It's got a mechanic on it which reduces the cost for a 5/5. It has Goblin Offering, so you can play this spell anytime you can play an instant by sacrificing goblins. Oh, Patron of the other one is in my Maranora deck as well. By sacrificing a goblin and paying the difference in its mana cost, basically. So whenever it attacks these creatures you control, +2/+0, probably can be cut if you want. Then we've got one of the Chancellors. This is Chancellor of the Forge. This is 4 red for a 5/5. It has a trigger though, but you may reveal this card from if you get it in your opening hand. So it's like a ley line effectively. If you do, at the beginning of the first upkeep, you get an effect which is put a 1/1 red goblin creature token. As you see, it's got the Phyrexian symbol on it. When Chancellor of the Forge enters the battlefield, put X 1/1 red goblin creature tokens with haste onto the battlefield, where X is the number of creatures you control. Alright, so that's all the creatures. Now we're going to go into the artifacts and the enchantments. Alright, so we've got section 1 is the map. I'll try and put that to voice. Spoiler is Soul Ring, pick your favourite one and not worth explaining. These are the mana rocks, basically. You've got Arcane Signet, again, pick your favourite. You got your Patchwork Banner, good in pretty much all tribal decks and pretty cheap. Then you've got the Banner of Kinship, where you said this one, okay, these are from, there's quite a lot of these newer things are from Bloomborough or that anyway. Alright, Banner of Kinship is one of the newer ones. So it's an artifact, it's 5 casting cost, which is quite expensive. But as it enters, choose a creature type. This artifact enters with a counter on it for each creature you control of chosen type, and its creature you control get +1/+1 for each counter on this, basically. Right, you've got your so coat of arms, yeah. Waffen Rock, it's basically the German coat of arms. It's each creature you control gets +1/+1 for each other creature that shares a creature type with. It's worth bearing in mind, this is global. The other ones are not global. So this one, if your opponent's playing a load of tribal decks, you basically don't want to play this unless you're sure they won't get to attack. You've got Skull Clamp, you've got one of the best artifacts and colours card drawing spells. It's just very, very good. One of the best equipment in the game. Alright, so now we're going on to the artifact, so the enchantments. So you've got Perforos, and this will be probably one of the best Goblin commanders if it was legal as a commander. Whereas how Brawl works is slightly different. You can use Planeswalkers and stuff as a commander. We know how Perforos works. It's basically whenever another creature enters the battlefield under your control, it deals 2 damage. It also can buff your creatures as well. 2 and a red. Alright, so that's Perforos. You've got Goblin Bombardment. It's basically a sack outlet. It's a flavorful sack outlet. You can see the goblin on it. That's just one of the promo printings. It's cool. Sack of creature deals 1 damage to target creature or player. You've got Grave Pact, which is a way to pay off for your sacrifices. It's when a creature you control is put into the graveyard, each other player sacrifices a creature, and you have plenty of sacrificial things. You've got a Dranu's Crusade. Dranu's Crusade. It's one of black and a red. This is probably forgotten. This is from Plane Shift. So this is what I think I got cards around this set, this kind of set. I remember opening like the Shivan Worm. I think that was the first rare I remember opening was from Plane Shift. Anyway, it's all goblins of +1/+1 of black and the zombies in addition to their creature type. Probably only just about playable. Then you've got tutors. If you don't have them, I'd recommend just playing something else. You've got your vampiric tutor, demonic tutor. Yeah, these are proxies. I've got lots of them, but not enough for every single deck. I mean, say if you like, I think most play groups are open to proxies, to be honest. Then we got the removal spells. We got there's not a huge amount in this deck. You're a creature-based deck. You generally want to play things that help advance your board situation or enable you to recover from losing your board, rather than things like you play a couple of them. So Garrick's Wake, you play this one because it's all destroy all creatures you don't control, so it's one-sided, and all planeswalkers. It's useful to have something that blows up planeswalkers, for instance. There's normally one in each game, kind of. You've got the Kindred Dominance, which is a good tool. It's choose a creature type, destroy creatures aren't of the chosen type. You've got all this dust, so your deck, it being black-red, you struggle against, generally you struggle against enchantments, and basically things that got protection from black and red, basically. So this is a toolbox answer, and you have the tutor to get it if you think you don't necessarily need to cast it if you've got a dominating board. All right, so these are some of the things. Okay, so this, as I mentioned earlier, so this is basically something. What's this? It's got a tribal sorcery. So this is a different type. So this is basically, it was something that it was in Lorwyn. They're basically part of a cycle. So the tribal things, they basically count as various different type. So tribal was mentioned on a Tarmogoyf, for instance. Anyway, tribal, based in this case being goblin, and there was a couple of others. There was this nameless inversion and Tarfire that had a creature based type on the line. So basically this one you can get back with Wort. I don't think Tarfire or Nameless Inversion are that good. I mean, you said this one is 4 casting cost sorcery. It's tribal sorcery. An additional cost, you have to sack a goblin. Its target creature get -5/-5 until the end of the turn. Fod launch will deal 5 damage to that creature's controller, and you can get it back with Wort. If you want to play the other ones of the cycle, it's Tarfire and Nameless Inversion. Tarfire is a 2 damage to, I can't remember if it does creatures or just, it does creature for 100%. I can't remember if it does player as well. Anyway, it's a shock, basically. And the Nameless Inversion is target creature get +3/-3. All right, Patriarch's Bidding, it's just a way to recur things. And you see it was reprinted in one of the MM sets, so it's cheap. All right, so we just go to the land and then we're done. As you say, play what you have. And you say try and get, you don't want to get a load of come into play tap lands, basically. So basically, you got the Bloodstained Mire, which is the fetch land. Blood Crypt, shock land. Temple of Malice, scry land. There's 36 land in here. You've got Dragon Skull Summit, check land. Auntie's Hovel. Okay, so this one is one part of the cycle. They're from Lorwyn. They've got various different, which are, well, I don't know what they're called. I'll call them tribal lands. They're basically, they enter play tapped unless you reveal X of a creature type from your hand. So this being a goblin, so it's come into play untapped if you reveal a goblin, basically. So that's basically unconditional land in this deck, pretty much. Then we've got a Graven Cairns, this being an expedition one. Yeah, I opened quite. These were not that difficult to open at the time. As I say, someone was opening one most weeks in our draft, for instance, and this being it's a filter land effectively. So it's black and you pay and you get X, put 1 in and get X out in any combination of the color, basically. So yeah, you've got Path of Ancestry. Just good in all tribal decks, really. You've got Command Tower, pick one. You've got the Smouldering Marsh, so that's okay. It basically enters tapped unless you control 2 or more basics, but there's tons of basics in it. Sulphurous Springs, ooh, whiteboarded one, I really should upgrade that. Okay, so Painland. You've got Free Tree City. This is basically one of the best tools from Bloomburrow, and Bloomburrow gave quite a lot to tribal decks. So this being one, you basically, it taps for colours normal. You could choose a creature type when it enters those. So 2 in a tap, so choose a colour, add an amount of mana of the colour equal to your number of creatures you control of the chosen type. It's potentially it's like a Nick Foss in a tribal deck. It's basically gives you a large amount of synergy, large amount of acceleration. Sorry, not synergy. All right, so you've got Shizo, the Death Storehouse, another land from the original Kamigawa. It's just target legendary creature gains fear. There's a few in the deck. You've got Urborg, each land is a swamp, and then you're going to have the various basics. So I'm going to say in the land section, I'm going to say I did have Wasteland and Strip Mine on it. I did drop them. I didn't think they were necessary. I mean, depending on your meta game, you might want to play those. You don't want to play too many colourless land. And bear in mind, I looked at the casting costs of the various things in the deck, and there are lots of things that have double and triple pips. So, I mean, I dropped them. I didn't think they were necessary. So, I will just mention this mountain. So this is my one. This is from the first onset. I don't see how many mountains there are. 2, 3, 4. I think it's. Let me just count. 16 mountains. And then we go to the swamps. 7 swamps. It's mostly a red deck. You're only really good at playing the black splash. Alright, you say that was my video for my goblin deck. I'm going to say thanks very much for watching. And you say next time, next time I'm hoping to do my... So I've got lots of more decks to feature. I was hoping next time to do my allies deck, because the allies deck, it's 5-color General Tazri, so has got a lot of upgrades from the new from the Avatar set, but I haven't managed to acquire all of what I need. And so Josh has got a lot of my got a lot of the stuff I need saved for me. So I mean, I appreciate if we'll sort out something on those at some point. Anyway, so that's that deck. I mean, when you say don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And as always, the Moxfield link for the deck will be in the video comments. And say thanks very much for watching, and have a happy Christmas and New Year. And say thanks very much, and I'll see you again soon. And don't forget, I also do various other content for Magic. I do various content for Arena. So the last video I did for Arena was a video about my Captain Cisse Paradox Engine deck. It's filthy. It's filthy, people. Right. And then you say I also do various other video game content as well. I mean, you said they'll all be linked in they'll all be linked in the various playlists. All right. Thanks very much for watching, and we'll see you again soon. Bye.